We're getting close to the proverbial changing of the guard in the White House. With any new administration, you can expect a lot of policy changes, and one area in particular that I've been following closely throughout the entire election is something that President-elect Biden mentioned quite a bit during his campaign, and that's student loan education and reform. It's no secret that this is something near and dear to my heart because I still have student loans, and it's something that's affected my family pretty significantly. But I know I'm not alone. An estimated 45 million Americans currently have a combined $1.6 trillion of student loan debt. That's trillion with a T. So a lot of us could be affected by any student loan reform. If you're in the same boat as I am, stick with me for the whole video because today I'll outline 5 ways your student loans may change in 2021. Number 1 is student loan cancellation. If you attended certain public 2 or 4 year colleges and you make less than $125,000 per year, you may get your student loans canceled. The slate would be wiped clean. A few things to keep in mind is that this only applies to undergraduate loans. Any graduate degree loans wouldn't be considered for cancellation. Additionally, if you earn more than $125,000, there have been rumblings that there would be a phase out where you could get some but not all undergrad loans forgiven. But honestly, other than what I've read mentioning this, I haven't seen many details. And also worth mentioning, some senators have urged Biden to sign an executive order immediately after inauguration to cancel $50,000 of federal student loans for everyone across the board. I personally think this is unlikely, which is why I mentioned it last under the list of potential loan cancellations, but it would be pretty awesome to have Biden go all Thanos, snap his fingers, and poof, $50,000 of student loans be gone. Number 2 is Public Service Loan Forgiveness, or PSLF expansion. Currently, if you work for qualified employers such as 501c3 nonprofits, government agencies, or the Peace Corps, and you make consecutive payments for 10 years, you can apply to have the remaining balance of your loans at the end of that 10 years forgiven. Under the new administration, this could be cut in half to 5 years, but it's worth noting that this isn't an automatic thing. You would still need to apply for this as soon as you start working, and even then, the government could still deny your application. Number 3, and this is my favorite, when COVID first hit, Biden proposed a sweeping $10,000 of federal student loan forgiveness for everyone as part of a COVID stimulus package. If you have more than $10,000 in loans, then effectively $10,000 would be wiped from your balance. If you have less, then it would completely eliminate what you would owe altogether. Just keep in mind that this only applies to federal loans and not private loans, and I wasn't able to find if this was for both undergraduate and graduate loans, but fingers crossed for me that it applies to both. And since this would be considered COVID relief, similar to other stimulus benefits like the $1,200 stimulus checks that went out last year, this would not be considered a taxable income. And number 4 is you may need to borrow less in the first place to pay for college. Honestly, tuition prices are out of control, and one of Biden's platforms while campaigning was to support the free college plan that would make some 2- and 4-year public colleges tuition free if you qualify. This wouldn't include non-tuition related costs such as room and board, books, or meal plans, and so on, but this could go a really long way in reducing the amount of money people need to borrow to begin with. There would also be an expansion to what are called Pell Grants, which are given to students who demonstrate extreme financial aid need. Unlike loans, the majority of students don't have to pay back the money given to them through Pell Grants. And this expansion could also include an increase on the grant limit, which is currently set at $6,345, and it would also make it so that more middle-class families would qualify for these. And number 5, you could have more options for student loan repayment. Currently, there are 4 provisions in place for income-driven student loan repayments, which require that anywhere from 10 to 20% of your discretionary income is considered for your minimum monthly payments. These are income-based repayment or IBR, pay as you earn or PAYE, revised pay as you earn or REPAYE, and income contingent repayment or ICR. This could all be revised to limit monthly payments to only 5% of your discretionary income instead of the current 10 to 20%, and it would also be the default repayment status for when loans go into repayment. Currently, you need to manually request to have this set up, and for a lot of people who don't even know these options exist, they aren't able to take advantage. Keep in mind that this is all based on what was said on the campaign trail and in the news recently. As of the time this was recorded, politicians are notorious for promising things and then not delivering on them, so time will only tell what changes actually take effect and when. So I wouldn't count on any of these changes just yet, but I, for one, wouldn't mind having a few $1,000s of my student loans forgiven so I could stash that money away in an investment account. And at least having the prospect for some kind of education reform makes me hopeful for the future. What would you do if your student loans were canceled? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you found this video helpful, please do me the huge favor of liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications. It really does help out the channel so I can continue to bring you these videos every week. You can also find me on Instagram at the handle below, which I check daily. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.